Is my screen visible, team? Okay, so just one thing, team, since you all doesn't have access to speak, if you have any questions, there is a Q&A session here. So you can put your question there, okay? And if you have, even if you're not able to access this or some reason, if you are not able to post it there, just put it in the chat box, okay? So feel free to post any question related to front end. Whenever, even I'm explaining, you can put your question in Q&A session or chat box, okay? I hope everyone is excited for this webinar. Okay, so let's get started. All right. So team, in today's webinar, we are going to talk about hooks in React.js. Okay, so I'm assuming you all have basic knowledge of React.js. Okay, that is one of the front-end library that we have based on React.js, based on JavaScript. I hope you all have basic knowledge about that. So in that, we are going to talk about one of the advanced topic, that is hooks in React.js. Okay, I'll give a recap of state for those maybe you have worked on React.js. Maybe a year later, 1 year ago, you may have worked on this technology, or maybe you are currently working, or maybe you need a recap. So I'll just give a quick recap about state, because today we are going to particularly work on useState hook. Okay, so I'll give you all a quick overview about the state in React.js so that you all get the context what we are going to do in useState hook. Okay? And then using this useState hook, we'll see how we can create a state inside function-based component. Okay? As you all know, class-based components have state, function-based component doesn't have a state. But yes, in React 16.8 version, okay, there is a way we can create a state inside function-based component as well. And then we'll see its usage where we use it in real time. Okay. Before I start, I just have one question. Just type 1 if you have knowledge of basic knowledge of React.js, okay? And type 2 in chat box if you don't have any knowledge of React.js. Just type 1 if you have basic knowledge of React.js, like you know component states. Okay, so we have both category. Let me do one thing. Let me give a quick overview about React.js so that everyone understands, so that this is fruitful or a productive session for everyone, even if you don't know React.js. Okay, so I'll just give a quick overview about React.js. So team, when we talk about front-end development, we majorly have HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. These are the basic 3 tech stack we have for the front-end technologies. Okay, so whenever you start your learning or as a journey of a front-end developer, these are the first technologies that you learn: HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. Okay. After this, obviously, you want to move to the advanced technologies. So you will learn Angular, you will use React.js, you will learn Vue.js. Okay. So React.js is one of the front-end library we have, advanced libraries we have. Okay. Now, React.js was introduced by Facebook. Okay, so React.js is very booming. Even if you just learn this one technology, your package literally doubles when it's come to React.js. It's very booming right now. So React.js was introduced by Facebook around 2013. Okay, so it came into existence into 2013, where people started using this technology, React.js. Before that, we had the basic one, HTML, CSS, and JS, and Angular was there. Okay, but then Facebook introduced this in 2013. Okay, the major reason Facebook introduced this was, so let's say in Facebook, what used to happen, let's say before 2000 year, before year 2000, what was happening? Everyone was using websites because before 2000, the new thing, let's say system, laptop was in, computers were introduced. So now websites were also introduced around 1991. So people started using websites. It was the technology was evolving day by day. So after 2000, around 2002, when Facebook was introduced, people started using it. Especially after the year 2000, your mobile phone came, your laptop came, your smartphone came. So people started using Facebook more, because back then, if I talk about initial 2000, we had majorly Facebook as one of the social media applications. We had Orkut and Facebook. So Facebook was the very booming at that time. I mean, still like nowadays we have Instagram, we have Snapchat, but at that time, majorly Facebook was the one. that we used to use for the social media application. And since a lot of users were using Facebook, so internet users were increasing, Facebook users were increasing. So there was a lot of load on the server of the Facebook. Okay. So let's say if I open my Facebook account, if I go to my profile section, if I go to home page, if I go to anybody's profile, okay. If you see now, if you open web application right now, you will see your page will not refresh. Okay. Let's say if I open Amazon, if you click on any product, it will refresh your page. It will request sent to the server. See, a request is sent to the server and server is bringing me this page. This is how websites work, right? You click on something, a request is sent to the server and server returns that page to us. But on the other hand, if you open Facebook right now, you will see if you go to your profile section, if you go to your home page, you will see your page will not refresh. Means request to the server is not sent. This is one of the reasons Facebook was introduced, to reduce the server load. That means, let's say if I'm logged into my Facebook account and I want to see my contact information in Facebook, then a request to server will not be sent. That is what single page application is. Okay. So request to the server will not be sent. This is one of the reason, like the Jordan, he's the person who introduced React.js at Facebook company. So this is the idea where Facebook was this React.js was introduced, but later on, obviously, virtual DOM, component-based system, state, props, all these concepts were introduced in React.js. But this was the main idea to reduce the server load. Like now, if you change your name in your Facebook, you add your profile picture, you add your cover photo, definitely requests will be sent to the server, because in the database, you always want to keep the latest data. But otherwise, if you are viewing your own profile, if you are viewing your own profile picture, request will not be sent to the server. Okay. This was the quick overview, the main idea why React.js was introduced. Okay. Now, latest version that we have for React is React 18. This was introduced in March 2022. Okay. So in March 2022, this latest version of React 18 was introduced. Before that, we have 16, 15, 16.8. Okay. 16.8 is important because this was the turning point in the history of React.js, because hook was introduced. Earlier, we had two type of components, class-based and function-based. Okay. But when hook was introduced, you were able to create a state inside the function-based component. Okay. Now, those who don't know class-based, function-based components, just a quick overview. Class is just like you create classes in ES6 in JavaScript, ECMAScript 6. Similarly, we have functions concept in JavaScript. So those functions that we see here, okay, it's exactly we created in the form of component. The technical term we use in React.js is component, but it is nothing but a function or a class. Okay. So here we had state. In function-based component, we didn't had any state back in 2015, I would say. But in 2019, okay, 16.8 version of React came, and now you can create a state inside the function-based component as well. This is what we are going to see today. Function-based components and how we can create a state inside that. Okay. And state is nothing but a JavaScript object, JS object. That is nothing but a collection of properties with different data types. Okay. I hope you got the quick overview, those who are not from the React background. Okay. All right. So this is the slide I've added for the state particularly. Again, those are not coming from the state React background, so that you get a overview about what is state. That is what we are going to create inside the function-based component today. Okay. So state is a collection of data that resides inside your component. Now your component can be a class or a JavaScript function. State is used so that we can keep track of information in between any renders. So render is nothing but when you putting something in the UI. Okay, when you're rendering something in UI in your website, that is what render means. Okay. State are objects. Objects means JavaScript object, which is nothing but a collection of different data types, which determine component rendering and behavior. Okay. States are mutable, means you can update state. Since they are mutable, you can update them. So we are able to create the dynamic and interactive components. Okay. And in a class-based component, we access it via this keyword, this dot state. Those who have not seen class-based component, it's fine. Okay. Maybe after the session, you can go back and do a quick overview about it. But today I'm going to particularly talk about function-based component and state inside it. Okay. And all right. So anyone, is there anyone who doesn't know the meaning of dynamic and interactive? Just type 1 if you know, and 2 if you don't know. Dynamic and interactive website. Okay. All right. Because, all right, no worries. Let me give a quick overview about that as well. When you all create a website with HTML and CSS, okay, you create a static website. That means there is no functionality to it. But when you use JavaScript, okay, JavaScript brings interactivity and dynamic nature to your website. For example, let's say this is my website right now. Okay, this is how this looks. I'm going to remove CSS. I'm removing styling right now. So you can see I've removed styling from my website right now. This is how my website is looking. This is all HTML right now. I have removed all the styling from my website. Okay. Now I'm going to enable the styling. This is how my website will look with styling. Okay. Now, if you click on any product, let's say if I click on this add to cart product, okay, the moment I clicked on add to cart, this product is visible in my cart page. Okay, this is JavaScript. Okay. When you click on a button and you're getting a reply, okay, right now, even if you all see we are connected through Zoom, right? I'm not physically coming or doing a conventional classes for this webinar. We all are connected online. So I am clicking on something and you're getting a reply from that. That is what interactivity is. So you're able to interact with me even through this applications. Similarly, I'm able to interact through this application because at the end of the day, if you're buying something online, team, you are basically buying it through website. The team which is handling all the logistic part, the shipping part, the delivery part, the team is sitting behind the other side. Okay, I'm sitting here, I'm buying something from here. So I am getting some reply from there. If I click on add to cart, if I click on proceed to buy, I will do the payment. So that is all JavaScript part. Okay. And dynamic is data updation. Okay. For example, in Facebook, you all can change your name. In Instagram, you all can add reels. You all can change your profile picture. You all can edit your bio. You all can add carousel 10 images. You all can add videos there. Okay. YouTube shorts, if you all have seen, you all are able to update data on YouTube. Okay. That is all comes under dynamic nature of a website. Okay. So that dynamic nature, if you want to provide where you're able to edit the data, let's say you all have at least once in a lifetime change the password in your accounts. Okay. I think everyone must have done that. Change the passwords in your accounts, Gmail account or Amazon account, any account. Okay. Because sometimes we forget the password. So that is all JavaScript part. Okay, where data updation comes, that is your dynamic part of your website. All right. So now these are the basic things about HTML, CSS, and JS. Now we have React.js. That is the advanced part of it. Okay. Now in that React, you have a lot of basic concepts. Now we'll see the state majorly in function-based components, how to create function-based components, and how to create state inside them. So to create a state inside a function-based component, we need useState hook. This useState hook was introduced in 16.8 version of React, that is in 2019. Okay, this helps you to let you hook into React features. Okay, so in React.js, there are a lot of React features that we have. Some features are available in function-based, some features are available in class-based components. So useState is one of the hooks that we have. It is nothing but a special function that helps you put a lot of React features inside the React function-based components. So the useState is one of those features that we have. Okay, and state is nothing but, just imagine it's a JavaScript object which is having a lot of data. Like in your Facebook, if I talk about, Facebook is created with React.js. Your name in Facebook, your profile picture, your cover photo, okay, your notification, your friends list, everything is inside the state. So in JavaScript, you create normal variables. In React.js, we create state. Okay. So just to give you all a real-time reference, in Facebook, all your information, all the dynamic information like your name, surname, profile picture, contact information, email ID, password, everything is inside the state, like one of the properties of JavaScript object. Okay. Now, next question comes, why this concept called hook was introduced. Okay. Then this was introduced, team, because the main reason was earlier, before 2019 again, let's say we were dependent upon class-based components. Okay, we were dependent upon class-based components. Now, let's say there is a case when I want to create a state inside a function-based component. So there was no way. So we had to remove all our function-based component code, and we used to write class-based there. So it's like a lot of hectic or rework we had to do. Like, let's say in Myntra application. Let's take an example. Let's say in Myntra application, if you ever buy any product, earlier what it used to say, like let's say you buy a product there, and those who don't know, Myntra is an e-commerce application. In Myntra, you can actually experience this thing, how React has changed. If I'm buying something from Myntra, you will see there is a product, let's say I bought. So at the end of the day, once the last step that it comes, it says, thank you for shopping. And then it says, for whom you're buying this product. Okay. So there are two buttons there. You're buying it for yourself or you're buying it for someone else. Okay. If you buy it for yourself, it stores the size that you have ordered. And then it gives you the notifications based on that. Okay. So next time for the sales, for the marketing, it actually gives you the notification of the clothing of the same size. Okay. If you select for someone else, then it just terminate and they just say, thank you for shopping with us. Okay. Now just imagine, thank you for shopping with us. Initially, let's say I created this with function-based component because I just wanted to display one line, thank you for shopping with us. Okay. But later on, I want a form there. Buttons means I need a form there. Form means user input. And whenever a user input comes, you need React state there. Okay. So what we used to do, we used to remove this complete function-based component and we used to convert it back to the class-based component. This is one of the reasons this hook concept was introduced. Okay. So if you write a function component and you realize you need to add some state to it, previously you had to convert it to class. Now you can go use a hook inside the existing function-based component. Okay. So now we'll see through code what does useState do, what does it return, and how we can use it. Now we will see useState hook. Okay. So first of all, what I really need is a component, a function-based component. Okay. I have added an extension. You all can see if you don't know. I have added this extension over here. So this React snippet quotes extension I've added. Okay. So I don't have to manually create a component now. React code snippet extension I've already added. Okay. So now I can simply use the shortcut. If you need a class-based component, you can simply write RCC and press enter. You will get a class-based component. Okay. If you need a function-based component, you can use RSC and press enter. Okay. So I'm using this extension so that I don't have to manually write a code of creating a component. I use these extensions. So you all can also install if you want React code snippets. Now here I'm going to create a state, okay, inside a function. This is how a function-based component looks. Okay. Import React from React, a function, okay, and a return. This will go into the UI. This will be the part which will go into the UI and render in the UI. So this is how we can create a state. Const keyword square brackets is equal to useState. Okay. Definitely, just those who are again not from React background, just a quick overview. Generally, we don't start a React state from here. We always start from class-based component. Okay. We generally see class-based component, then we see how to create a state there. Okay. But since today we are particularly talking about useState hook, so just to give a quick, like if you want to go back and study about it, you can actually read about class-based component and state inside that. Okay. Then you will be easy. It will be easy for you to understand why I did this today. So const square brackets is equal to useState. useState is again coming from this React. And here you have to write two things. Okay. State variable and a function to update it. So let's say I'm going to write here first name, comma, set first name is equal to useState, and inside this I will add the initial value. So in back of your mind, you can just imagine, just like you create a variable in JavaScript, const first name is equal to Elena. This is equivalent to this step. So you're assigning this Elena to this first name. You're assigning this value of Elena to this first name over here. Okay. So you can imagine I'm doing something like this when I'm writing the statement. Similarly, we can create any data type like age, set age, useState, 20. This will be a string, this will be a number. I can write, let's say, object, comma set object. I can write object inside this. Let's say name, designation, let's say developer. I can create an array. Like this. So you can create any data type now. In this function-based component, if you want to create a state, these are called state variables, first name, age. So this is the initial value you're assigning to these variables. Initial value you're assigning to these variables. Initial value you're assigning to these variables. Let me write it here. We are writing state variable, comma, a method to update it. All right. Now, this is what it returns. It returns two things. That is the state variable and a function to update it. So what does useState return? It returns a method and a state variable over here. And what does useState do? It helps you add React state to function-based components. So these are state variables that we are adding. Earlier, before 16.8, we didn't have this privilege to add a state inside function-based component. Now we can add it. Okay. And last step is to display these data. Okay. So for displaying, I can simply use JSX here. I can write in a p tag, let's say first name, colon, in curly brace, I will write first name. In p tag, I will write, let's say age. Age. Okay. This is a JSX. This is a JSX that I'm following. In curly brace, I'm putting all my code. In p tag, I will write, let's say, object.name. This is how you display a object property. This is how you access it. Object.name, object.designation. So this is how you can display these state variables. So let me run this. If anyone has any questions so far, feel free to add it in the chat box or in Q&A. It's running right now. So here you can see first name Elena. Elena is your data value over here. So you all can see this value is Elena. Okay. And first name is something I have written. This is starting. Age is starting and a value is this one 20. Okay. Alex I've displayed here, object value that is Alex. Okay. And then developer I'm displaying here. So you can see all these are my data values that I'm using here. State variable. Now you can just imagine in your Facebook when your name is displayed as, let's say, Alex Joe. Okay. So in Facebook account, so this is nothing but this state variable that you see there. In Facebook, if you see your profile picture, okay, let's say cost profile, comma set profile is equal to useState. And here you can see some link of your image. Okay, so that is nothing but the image link that you pass here, because image link is always in a string value. Okay, string data type. So you can simply use it here to display it in UI. Okay, so always whenever you're learning React, always keep Facebook as a reference, because Facebook only created it, and Facebook is like totally created with React.js. Though we have more applications like Netflix, your Gmail, your Google Drive, Airbnb, Spotify, all these cardeco.com, all these websites are created with React.js. Okay, even those companies who were not using React, now they are shifting their code to React because it's more useful. Okay, so this is one of the reasons. You can see even they are like nowadays, if I talk about components, function-based components are used the most, because code-wise and writing the code-wise, it's very easy as compared to class-based. So even in React 18, the last and the latest version that was introduced, they are majorly using function-based components. Any questions, anyone so far? To create a state variable and displaying it. Akshay, Dwarika, Kavya, Naman, Nitin, Preeti, Sagar, Shalini, Sonali, Vaibhav, Vishnu, Kishlok. Okay. Now next part is to update it. Okay. So this method is already there. So you all really don't have to create a custom method like in okay, someone raised their hand. Yes, Divesh. Okay, this is Dipali. Dipali, you will be using this useState hook when you want to create a state inside a function-based component. So whenever you're creating a function-based component, okay, and you want to create a state inside that, you will be using creating a function. Like this is the only way you can create a state inside a function-based. Let's say in a Facebook, there's a profile component. In Facebook, you have a profile component. In that profile component, you want to, obviously you will need an object where you will store user data like name, surname, profile picture, contact information. Okay, so you can simply create a state there, and in that object you can put all the data in the form of properties. useState, value can be null, not useState, but yes, value can be null. Like you can have a variable, let's say a comma set a is equal to useState. You can put any data type here. You can have something like this. useState is a function here. In that you can have any data type from JavaScript. Yes, this is the initial value defining for it. This is the initial value defining for these variables. You can have any data type, primitive data type, non-primitive data type, any data type can come. Divesh, I think you raised your hand, but I think you don't have access to, I think, speak. But can you put your question here? That would be great. If you can put your question here. Okay, by mistake. Fair enough. Okay. Now, next part is to update. Okay. Obviously, let's say Facebook, you have added your name as Elena, but later, generally surname, people generally update their surname there. Okay. So let's say there's a person name is Alex and Joe. Okay. Later on, they realize they want to change their surname there. So you can simply do it on click of a button. So let's create a button here. Obviously, you need user input. That means you need a button here. Here, I'm going to write click, or let's say update. Okay. I'm going to write a function, just like we do it in class-based components, similar process. I'm going to create a function here, a handler. Let's say handle update. I'm going to call this function from this place. On click is equal to handle update. Okay. On click. So when you click on this button update, okay, you want to update this Alina to something else. So you click on this handler update will be clicked. In React.js, we call these as handler functions. Okay. Generally in class-based components, you learn more about them. Okay, like we always start React from class-based otherwise. So yeah, these are called handlers, functions. So this is how you update. So when you create a state variable, you have a method there itself. So you just copy this, paste it here, and whatever value you want to update it with, just pass it. Like it's Alina, now you want to update it to Alex. Just pass Alex, that's it. Okay. Or you want to use Harry, just add Harry. Similarly, you want to update age, just copy the set age method and pass the updated data here, let's say 30. That's it. So when you click on this update button, this function will be called, okay? And this set first name, Alina will be replaced with Harry and 20 will be replaced with 30. So initial value that you define here is assigned to these variables. But what value you add here will be the updated values. So now you will see if I click on this update, Alina is changed to Harry and 20 is changed to 30. Okay, let me show you all again. So it's Alina and 20 right now. If I click on this update button, just look at these two values. This is changed to Harry and this is changed to 30. Okay. So even to update a state inside a function-based component, you already have these methods. And every state variable will have its own method. Just like in class-based component, you write this dot set state, right? We use set state method in state class-based components to update a state. Here you don't have that. Here for every state variable, you have its method to update it. And you just need to pass updated data here. That's it. Okay. So this is how you can update a state variable. And always remember it is replaced. Okay, not updated, it is replaced. Okay. You are saying something like this. Yeah, if you want to write a normal function, you can write function keyword. This is allowed. This is allowed to you. So it's your, like in React.js, in React.js, we prefer to go with React ES6. ES6 means arrow function. Okay. This greater than sign is called arrow function, fat arrow basically. But if you try to do this normal function, this will work. Okay. But okay, you can see this will work. Okay, if you can see this is working. But yes, it is recommended to use ES6 because in React.js we use ES6 syntax. Okay, that is more cleaner and easier to write. But yeah, if like you need to use function keyword, if you're writing normal function like this, the older function syntax, but it will work. What does hook return? Okay, this hook over here is giving this useState is a hook, which is a nothing but a special function, which is predefined. It is giving you two things. One is the state variable and a method to update it. This is what it returns: a state variable and a method to update that state variable. Correct. Yes, that's a good question. How to update the object? For object, it will be little different. I'll show you all. So let's say I will add an object here, set object. Okay. Like in my mind, it's more like Lena is replaced with Harry, 20 is replaced with 30, right? Same I will do with object. Let's say I will pass an object here and I want to change designation to manager. Okay. What I've done, this was my initial object. Now I've changed it to designation manager. So what I'm expecting, Alex and manager here. So now if you try to do this, you will see manager is coming, but Alex is lost as a data. If I refresh, you can see these are the two object data, Alex and developer. If I click on this, you will see this is developer is changed to manager, but Alex data is lost because this is the default nature of useState to replace the data. Okay. You know what updation is? Updation is you have existing data and you are updating some property inside this. That is updation. Okay. That is what your set state do in class base. But in function-based component here, these methods, this useState method, it actually replaces this object with this object. That's why Alex is not found. Okay, this name is not found. So it is, you're getting your data is lost here. Okay. So anyone who know how to create a copy of an object or an array, how can we create a copy of a, this is one of the ES6 features we have, how to create a copy of the existing object using spread operator, correct. So using spread operator, you all need to create a copy of that object, okay, comma, you want to update designation with what value, manager. Now your data will not be lost. If I refresh, you can see my data will not be lost. It is changed to manager. Okay, Divesh, the main idea is if you try to do something like this, const array is equal to empty array, array like this. Okay. The difference between this variable and the state variable is state, like I mentioned here, state is helping you to keep track of information what has changed. Okay. Even when your data has changed, you're able to keep track of it. Always remember in React.js, state is like an intermediate. Even if you're getting a data from a user and you're sending it to the database. So the first place where data will be stored is state. Even if I'm getting the data from the database, okay, firstly, I will store it in the state and then I will display it in UI. So state is going to be that point of contact for you. So this normal variable will not be helping you to track the data or if you want to update the data. Okay? Like later on, you have a lot of concept here, use effect is there, in that you will see the importance. Like any state, let's say this variable is updated, automatically API call happens. What is this question? How to update specific first name with multiple? No, that is, it will give you error. You cannot have a variable with the same naming like this. If I try to do like this, it will give you error. See, you cannot have a naming with the same name. This is one of the thing we introduced in ES6, const keyword. With const keyword, it makes sure you always have a unique words. Okay, it makes sure you always have a unique name for your variables. So this will not work. You have to give unique name for your variables. Yes, you can delete the data for sure. For deletion of data, basically, majorly we do create an array of object. Like for example, I created my account on PayPal. Okay, I created my account on PayPal. Later on, I realized I want to delete it. Okay. So in array, in React.js, majorly we work with array of objects. Okay, like in Facebook database, if I talk about, it's like array of object, where we all are like objects there. I am one object, you all have one object. So this one object you can delete based on IDs. For deletion, you need something called IDs, unique IDs you need. So based on that, you can definitely delete. Okay. Same goes for arrays. For array also, since these are primitive data types, so this thing like replacement works here. But in non-primitive data type, as you can see, you have to create a copy and then you can add. Similarly, array is a non-primitive data type. Okay, you have to create a copy of your previous array and then you can add anything if you want. Okay, we are not displaying the array. Let's display an array. So for displaying an array, we need a map function. Array.map. You can see array elements are displayed here. If I click on this, 100 and 200 is added. You can see array is displayed here 90, 40, 28. If I click on this, these two elements are added, 100 and 200. Same, I'm using spread operator here. Is it clear? Any questions, anyone so far? Amar, Amit, Anil, Balaji, Bhargavi, Jay Agarwal, Nitin. Prasanti, Fritvik, Roshan, Saurabh, Swarna, Peshwa, Pitsuka. Yes. Okay, I can give you a quick overview about use effect. Okay. Before that, can we? Yes, Mukesh, you can update in the index as well. You can update, like you can fetch that particular index, like you can create a copy of that variable, like let new array. You can do that. You will create a copy of that previous array. That new array, you will update that, let's say at 0th index, you will make it 100. And simply you will pass a new array. You can do that. If you want to update a particular index in this, okay, create a copy of this array, change the value of that index and pass a new array. You can see 90 is updated with 100 here. Okay, is there any pros and cons of, okay. Basically, in class-based components, I mean, there are still advantages and disadvantages. Like in class-based components, we have lifecycle component methods, which we still don't have in functions. In function-based component, we can have only three methods, three lifecycle methods, which we use using use effect hook. Okay. And again, in function-based component, syntax-wise, it's very much easier in React 18. Whatever new features or function, let's say this lazy loading has been introduced. Okay, a suspense, a React suspense has been introduced. So all these features are introduced with the thought process of ES6 function-based components. If you know about React Router DOM 6th version, they are also using they expect you to use function-based components. So the latest ones, which is introduced in function, is all function based. But yes, that doesn't mean class based components are dead. Even carddeco.com is still using for class based components. It depends on the version you're working with. That is very important. Unlike objects with arrays, or no, this is not overwritten here. Basically, when you're using spread operator creates a deep copy. So it doesn't give a reference of the previous whatever object or array is. So spread operator, this is the usage of spread operator that was introduced in year 6. It spreads, it creates a copy with a deep copy. That means reference is not passed. So you get a new copy here. It's not overwritten. Overwritten is something like this. When you do new array is equal to array, this is overwritten. When you use spread operator, it creates a deep copy. Here it is creating a shallow copy. That is the reason it is introduced in year 6. I think I've not missed anything. Yes, spread operator is used to create a copy or spreading or maybe merging to, or maybe concatenation of array. Even in that case, it can be used. Okay. Sheikh, I'll give you a quick overview about use effect. I have one question. Do you know about lifecycle component methods? Okay, perfect. So team, though in class-based component, you have lifecycle component methods where you have 3 stages: mounting, unmounting, and updation. Okay. In function-based components, we don't have that. Okay. In function-based component, we don't have that. So that is the reason when useState hook was when hook was introduced, use effect hook was also introduced. Okay. In use effect hook, the way you use it. Okay. I'll show you all here quickly. Firstly, if you want to get the data from an API. Okay. Let's say this is the first example I'm using for a use effect. Quick overview. Okay. So just like your component did mount works, in component did mount. Let me write it here. The way your component did mount works in class-based component, this is exactly how I'm going to create a use effect here with the empty array. So whenever this component comes in UI, let's say you click on your profile picture, okay? You want the data there. So you will click on that profile section and you want to get the data from an API. Here you can do your API call in this place. This will become component did mount. Okay? Let's say first time you're logging into any application, let's say Netflix. Okay. In Netflix, if you write your email ID and password, you click on login. When you click on login, initially you want to get the data from the database and display it in UI. So there you will use this use effect in the first component which is going to render. So here you can do API call using Axios or Fetch. Okay. This is component did mount you are implementing. Okay. Let's say you want to implement component did update. One thing, even to understand use effect team here, you should know component lifecycle methods. Otherwise, use effect is of no use. Okay. If you don't know lifecycle component methods, you can't understand use effect. Okay? So I'm just giving a quick overview since someone has asked. Okay. Let's say first name. Okay. Now this is component did update. Like whenever this first name will be updated, every time some whatever logic you're going to write here, this will be called every time. Okay, so this will be called every time. Okay, whenever first name will be updated. First of all, let's say I'm updating my name in my Facebook account. Okay, so there I can use this use effect. Whenever my name is updated, do a API call. First, whenever you're logging into any application of React.js, you will, if you're going with function-based component there, you will need use effect because initially you will get the movie data, okay, movie array of object. You will display all the movie cards, movie data, movie description. So there you will be using this. You can use multiple use effect in the same component for sure. Okay, so this is how you use it. This will render only when for the initial part only. For initially when you're going to that component, only for that time it will be called only initially, similar to component did mock. Did update. This means whenever this first name is updated, every time this function will be called, this function. And use effect is also a hook. Those who don't know, use effect is also a hook. Okay, but even to understand it in detail, you should know like lifecycle component method first, because it is a replacement of lifecycle component here. Okay, 3 methods are allowed, only 3. Just like you write state and set state in class, you write use state and this method here to update it. All right. So this is what a plan team. Lastly, SkillUpRight is actually offering you all the course as well. Okay. So if you, I will be the instructor for your React. Just like obviously today we pick one topic, but you will be learning from scratch for React.js with the React 18 latest version. Okay. I'm adding the contact details in the chat box. You can actually go to it. You can actually go through it. Okay. This is the contact number. If you have any questions, details, pricing, anything, you can contact the team for it. Okay. And thank you. And if you have any questions, I'm open to that. This is the contact information. Sandesh, can this recording? I think team will, you can check with the SkillUpRight team for these details like recording and all. Thank you. All right. If you like, you all can keep this information I've added in the chat box. Okay. If you all want to go for course or something, you can contact the team. The team for appreciating. Any questions or should we wrap? I've added the contact details in the chat box. If anyone want to contact the team, the number is right here. You can do that. Okay, Mukesh, use callback is basically used to return a memoized value. That basically means, let's say, for example, if you all have observed, if you are updating something in that component, then only, like for example, in your Swiggy, if you order something online, okay, I don't know if you all have observed, if you order something online, there is some delivery instruction updation, it says, okay. So if you are actually updating any delivery instructions like no calling, no ringing the bell, if you actually select something, then only they enable the button. Otherwise, your button remains disabled. Okay. The only reason is that there is, if you let's say you click on delivery instructions updation and you click on, let's say you didn't click anything, still you are updating, so there will be unnecessary request you're sending to the server. So there you can use actually this use callback, where your child component data will only be updating when actually when there is a need of rendering, otherwise. Yes, this is a React.js is for web app. Okay, if you want to learn mobile application, then there is React Native. Okay, React Native is there. This is user defined only, Anu. This is user defined I've written. Handle update is not predefined. This is the one I have defined right now. Okay. This is user defined. Yes, you can have a 2D, any data type that you have in JS, you can have that here. For sure, you can have that. Yes, of course, Sheikh, you can do that. When you have this second parameter as an empty array, it becomes a component inbound. So if you want to do if you want to do any calling of function from here, you can do that. That's allowed. Okay, Nupur, previous state is set state. Okay, basically we don't have anything called previous state here. In this case, if you really want to go with that concept, like where you have component, like should component update, all that, for that you need to use class-based component. In function component, you don't have that should component update or component data update. You don't have that. Where you get the previous value. You don't have that. So like lifecycle components are very limited here. If you really want to use, then you have to use class-based component there. Like where you use it, I can tell you, for example, in net banking, when you're updating your password. If your password is new, then only you will do a request to update it, otherwise not. But you can somehow handle it through use callbacks if you are talking about function-based components. But you don't need use effect for that. You can use callback or use memo there. No, Deepu, you need to understand one thing. When you're developing a web application with React.js, it will be opened in browsers only. If you're talking about mobile application, which you go to App Store and download it, for that you need React Native. Okay. In mobile, you can open, but you have to go to, basically you need to go to your web browser there. Okay, Nupur, that's a callback. No, basically, the whole point of doing this is, Nupur, if you do something like this, the only like the whatever you have written, the whole point of doing this is this set methods over here. It takes some seconds to update. Okay, so sometimes what happens, you update it and then you are displaying it. So display comes before the updation. So just to delay or like we just to make it asynchronous, we use this callback there. So the syntax you have written, it's like a callback. So just to make it async, you write callback there. Because sometimes it takes a bit of seconds to update it. All right, I think we can wrap the session. Thank you, team. Lovely connecting with you all. If you have any doubt related to course, please contact the team. Okay. All right. Thank you. Have a nice day. Bye.